Hello guys, I recently received this comment on YouTube. Typically on this channel I compare models and IDEs in terms of what they do, but I haven't really touched on how much do they cost. So I will compare the pricing of 5 most popular IDEs on the market, starting from most expensive, and we will go down to the cheapest option to try. Also, I will talk about usage limit comparison, so how many prompts and requests do you get inside of that pricing, and also what extra do you get on top of IDE for agentic coding. And those pricing are at the time of shooting this video, which is September 28th, 2025. So maybe the prices are different at the time when you're watching this video, or maybe in your country, so please double check. And let's start with Cursor. They are kind of the pioneers. They were #1 on the market in terms of usage for a long time, but at the moment they seem to be the most expensive choice. So the lowest price is $20 per month. I will not take free plans and hobby projects and trials in this video. I will talk about the cheapest available paid plans, which will allow to use the newest state-of-the-art LLM models. Which leads me to Cursor, where you can choose the models between, for example, Claude 4 Sonnet, GPT-5 and GPT-5 Codex, one of the newest ones. So these are probably table stakes. The IDE that allows Claude 4 Sonnet and GPT-5 Codex is probably the requirement at this point, because those two models are kind of leading the market in terms of quality. So yeah, the advantage of Cursor is that you can choose the model, and for example, if one model provider is down, as it used to be with Anthropic a month or two ago with a lot of outages, then you can switch to GPT-5, for example, or vice versa. Also, advantage of Cursor over other IDEs is a very high quality tab feature with autocomplete. So if I close the agent and just start typing, it will suggest a lot of useful, logical things, and in my experience, it's still the best on the market in terms of auto-suggesting stuff. That said, if we're talking about pricing in this video, I'll show you my dashboard. So this is my dashboard. I haven't been actively using Cursor for last month or so, but you can see the rough pricing of each prompt. It may be as low as 3 cents or maybe as high as 53 cents. And probably a better way is to check 30 days where I was more active. And here you can see the prices of 49 cents per prompt, even up to $1 and more. So this is how Cursor calculates those $20 per month usage. They calculate the total amount of API pricing for the models, but your usage doesn't stop at $20 sharp. It's unclear when does it stop, because different users report different numbers. To me, in the past, it stopped at roughly $40 or so, and then the main thing is this. After you run out of those $20 credits, then the way to continue is to switch to API pricing, which is those prices directly. So for each prompt, you may pay quite a lot of money, and this is the main downside of Cursor. If you're using it actively, you will run out of $20 pretty quickly, and then it gets really expensive. If you want more details specifically on Cursor pricing, I have a separate video on this channel a month ago, and I will link that in the description below. The next popular option is Claude Code, the terminal CLI-based IDE, which you can actually run inside of Cursor. So another option is to have free plan in Cursor and then add Claude Code on top in terminal. And in terms of model choice, Claude Code has only Claude models. So by default it is Claude 4 Sonnet, which is good, and you can switch to Opus, but you cannot choose something like GPT-5 inside of Claude Code. This is the downside. So if Claude model is down, or the infrastructure is experiencing issues or degradations in quality, then you cannot really switch to anything. That said, the pricing, Claude Code is a part of pricing of Claude General with Claude Web and other features. So you can access Claude Code on a plan of Pro from Anthropic from Claude for $20 per month, same as Cursor, if billed monthly. For that, you get the access to Claude 4 Sonnet model inside of Claude Code. As you saw, if you want more powerful Opus thinking model, you need to upgrade to Max plan, which starts from $100, so it's not in the same ballpark as this video is aiming for. But basically, same price for Claude Code as Cursor, $20, but you get different amount of prompts and tokens. It's hard to actually measure, but the limits of Claude Code with Opus seem to be this. In one of the support articles by Claude, they describe Pro plan for light coding work, and they tell that the average user can send approximately 45 messages every 5 hours. So there's a limit what you can do in 5 hours, and then you cannot prompt more until the next 5-hour window. Also, there's a weekly limit of roughly 40 to 80 hours. Again, this is approximation, but in my experience, if we compare month to month on Claude Code, you would get much more than on Cursor. On top of that, you get Pro plan of Claude Web. So you can, for example, plan your projects in web version outside of Claude Code, and you get all the features of non-coding usage of Claude. So this pricing is not only for Claude Code. In terms of Cursor, it's just the IDE pricing. I personally use Claude Code quite a lot in Cursor, as I showed you a minute ago, like this. And this is currently my favorite choice if you count value for money. That said, there are a few other stronger alternatives which may be cheaper. Let's take a look. The next option is also terminal-based. It's Codex CLI from OpenAI, which allows you to use GPT-5 models. If you type in model here, the choice is this. And at first, when GPT-5 was released, it received mixed emotions from the community, but then over a few months it got better, and now it's on par with Claude 4 Sonnet in terms of quality, especially GPT-5 Codex, which is specifically for coding. And to use Codex CLI with GPT-5, you need to have ChatGPT subscription. And in the beginning of this video, I told you we will get from more expensive to less expensive options in terms of IDEs. But meanwhile, they raised their pricing for ChatGPT, so you can get Codex CLI in Plus plan of ChatGPT, which is currently for me 23 euros per month. I'm in Lithuania in European Union, or if you just Google ChatGPT Plus pricing, it says $25 per user per month. But if you Google down below, you can see $20 per month in some articles, which used to be older price. I'm not sure when they raised it, but now currently the price is this, $25 per month. And similarly to Claude Code, it's actually identical model if you think about it. You get only GPT models. So again, if OpenAI is down, then there's nothing to switch to in Codex. But at the same time, you get the access to, well, ChatGPT. So you can use ChatGPT with all the Plus plan features. So it's not only about coding. So you get things like Sora video generation, limited access, extended limits on something, and more features of ChatGPT. So between Claude Code and Codex, it's kind of which ecosystem do you believe in and want to invest in? Claude with Anthropic or OpenAI with GPT? If you want to see Codex CLI in action, I have a video on this channel and I'll link that in the description below. And also in terms of usage limit, in the official documentation of OpenAI, they are not specific. Limits may vary based on system conditions, which doesn't really mean anything. And at the time of release, Alexander from OpenAI reported that the limits are also every 5 hours for whatever reason, similar to Claude Code. And they report a bit bigger amount of messages than Claude Code. And also there are weekly limits, so different people on Reddit, for example, report different usage stories. So in this case, $20 plan for Codex CLI gives this usage limit, not in a good way. And also I found another Reddit post about Codex being annoying with not warning you about your limit coming to an end. But again, it's all approximations and it all depends on what do you prompt, how do you manage the context, how do you clear the context. And for daily usage, for casual usage of AI agents, I think $25 plan on OpenAI or $20 plan on Anthropic both give pretty fair limits. But what if even $20 per month is too big price for you? I will have two more options in this video. Let's talk about Windsurf. After Windsurf being bought by Cognition, Devon creators, and it is on their homepage on top, I thought that Windsurf is not a competitor anymore in ADI agents market. But recently, I tried it out myself. This is the video on the channel, and I will link that in the description below. And it's still a strong competitor. It works, and the pricing is cheaper. Maybe specifically because it's less popular now. I'm not sure. And those of you who tried Cursor earlier, like in 2024, you probably remember the pricing. It was exactly the same. It was 500 credits or prompts it was called. It was $20, I think, but I do remember the number 500. So Windsurf stayed at that pricing model. And in their official docs, they still say that one prompt credit is one message to Cascade, which is their agent. So 500 prompts per month is a pretty good deal for casual usage. And if you run out of that, you can purchase add-on credits. And in terms of models, in the official documentation of Windsurf, you can see that Claude Sonnet 4 is present in the Pro plan, as well as GPT-5 Codex. So all good in terms of switching between the models. So Windsurf may be a cheaper way to try AI agents than Cursor, Claude Code, or Codex I mentioned previously. And finally, there's one more even cheaper option. Let's talk about good old classical Visual Studio Code with GitHub Copilot. And early in the day of AI agents, they were not even a competitor. GitHub Copilot was significantly worse than Cursor at the time, but they were improving slowly month after month, and now GitHub Copilot is totally a viable, good option. So in VS Code, you can open chat and build with agent mode, agent or ask, similar to Cursor or Windsurf. And in terms of models, you also can choose GPT-5 Codex, Claude Sonnet 4, and others. And the difference is pricing. If we take a look at pricing page of GitHub Copilot, which can be used in VS Code, or General Copilot, which you can get on GitHub, this is Pro plan for $10 per month. Let's zoom in a little, and down below you can see that in Pro plan, you get all the models that you need. Sonnet 4 and GPT-5 and GPT-5 Codex all are included. And if we scroll a bit up, we can see the usages. So Pro plan gives you up to 300 requests, premium requests per month, or you can later upgrade to Pro Plus for $39, which will give you 1,500 requests per month, but even 300 per month. Again, in this video, we're talking about casual usage, more like trying AI in your projects, whether it will stick or not. So for that use case, what I found is the cheapest way to try is $10 per month with GitHub Copilot in VS Code. Again, similarly to other editors, I reviewed it on this channel a month ago with Copilot and with Sonnet 4, and I will link that in the description below as well. It is good. So to recap this video, what are the options? Cursor is $20 per month, but you run of them pretty quickly, and then it gets more expensive. Then Codex with ChatGPT subscription is $25 per month. Then Claude Code with Claude Anthropic subscription is $20 per month. Windsurf is $15 per month with 500 credits. And as I said, the cheapest option, at least from the widely popular IDEs that I found, is $10 per month with VS Code and GitHub Copilot. What do you think? Have you found anything cheaper? We can discuss in the comments below, or what other features of those IDEs would make it a deal breaker on top of pricing. Let's discuss all of that in the comments, and also I advise you to subscribe to my weekly free newsletter where I review all the LLMs, IDEs, and news, and put a lot of links to the latest events in AI coding. I will link that in the description below. That's it for this time, and see you guys in other videos.